It's on. It's on. It's on.
Okay, we'll start out with call to order, and we've got to do our, what you say, oath of office, and you're ready to do that?
Already done it. You're good.
We're good?
Yep.
All done? Okay. Any disclosures? Pecuniary interest? Are that closed? Approval of the agenda, July 29th, Quinte West O.P.P. Detachment Board meeting. I need a mover and a seconder. Sheila moves, seconded by Chuck O'Malley. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, need approval of the minutes. I guess that's what we need. Everybody read them? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, there's no minutes on this agenda just because we're starting off as a
Okay.
new board, so
All right.
I didn't include the minutes from the last,
Okay, we'll go on to public input then. Anybody for public input? Okay. Declare that closed. Correspondence? Annual report?
Morning, Your Worship. Did you want me to speak to those items?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
All right. I'm Inspector Christina Reeve. Welcome, Jen. This is Staff Sergeant Jeremy Doolin. So I've prepared two reports that are in front of you today. The first one being the annual report, which I had submitted one to the previous board in January. However, our stats in January for the year prior have not, they're not accurate. They haven't gone through the full process of approvals and vetting. So this report is a much more fulsome, accurate account of what we did last year. There isn't any new information in there. It's just a roll-up of the previous reports. So the second report is under our new format. It's a report that they've created under the Community Safety and Policing Act's new requirements. So there are sections in there that we've never reported on before, or that I've only reported on ad hoc, specifically to mental health, occurrences involving youth, opioids and overdoses, and then victim service. So those are areas that were identified through the process of creating the new act as being things that we needed to report on to the public, and they're now mandatory reporting. Some of those stats we haven't actually collected in the past. So going forward, we'll have, a way to capture numbers of incidents with youth. Right now, we really only capture the ones that are either classified as a trouble with youth or where a young person is charged. Anything else that might involve a young person, we haven't necessarily captured that piece. But there are some differences in there that you'll see, particularly around the mental health. It shows, which ones are straight up mental health calls where we get called because someone's in crisis versus one where we go to a domestic that has undertones of mental health. So some of that information that we've never reported on before is broken down in that report. Some highlights for things that have been happening in our detachment in the last 6 months, the first part of this year. We have 2 brand new sergeants in our office. So both officers who were already with Quinte West, Art Witowski and Andrew Brown, are now our newest sergeants, and they replaced Sergeant Wiley and Sergeant O'Byrne, who both left in January. And we have 5 new recruits that we're currently training. So PC Cobo Marin, PC Avery, PC McRae, PC Daniels, and PC Pello. 3 of those are females, which we were, our percentage of female was getting quite low, and it kind of topped us up to bring 3 new ones in, so I'm excited about that. One of the recruiting highlights for the O.P.P. right now is to try and get female recruitment back up into the forefront. In 1994, they hired their largest ever amount of females under the gender equality push that was at that time. Of course, this being 2024, they're all retiring, and we haven't kept up that hiring. So we were up to 21% females, and we're now down to 15% across the O.P.P. So they're trying to kind of figure out where they went wrong there and get those numbers back up again. So you would also have noticed with any community events that have been around town that we have a new community service officer. So Nick O'Sullivan has taken on that role. Nick has been with the O.P.P. for close to 20 years. The majority of it in Quinte West. Very, very sociable guy. He's jumping right into everything, 2 feet, full energy. So you'll see him out and about, and that's replacing, sorry? Oh, yes, Art Witowski, because he got promoted to a sergeant. Saying, where'd that gap come in? The one other thing that I wanted to highlight was that we have submitted another grant to try and increase our impact team. Last year, we had submitted the grant to bring in another full-time person into the Quinte West, basically for doing follow-ups and referrals that are after the fact. We find that our impact team has more work than they can handle in the area. We were successful in getting the grant, but they didn't actually tell us that until December, and the grant ended in March. So we weren't able to fill the position, so we're trying again to get one for this year and try and expand that with that extra position. So that's been submitted, and we're just waiting to hear whether or not we're accepted again this year. So I don't know if there's any highlights from the new report that anybody had any questions on.
Thank you. You touched on the mental health. That was a new one that I noticed as well. There's over 200. Is that assessed by the officer at the scene, or is it they're diagnosed by someone else? Just to clarify what classifies it.
So that wouldn't be a medical diagnosis of any sort. That is where we get called either because someone has a mental health crisis, so that's what they identify, or when we're at the call, they tell us that they have a mental health condition that's contributing to it, or where it's apparent to us that that's something. So if we feel like mental health is an issue, even if there isn't a diagnosis or they aren't disclosing that, that's where we bring in the impact team so that an expert is able to assist them with that.
You know, I often stop in the detachment and say hello, and I'm always very impressed with how they respond to our detachment commander and the good words that they have to say about the leadership in that in our facility. So I thank all of you, and I appreciate the good work, because when people work together and work together well, everything looks easy and is done competently. So thank you very much. Yesterday morning, Jane and I went for breakfast at Piper's Arms. We're going to cross the 401, and one of our officers was working the 401 at 33 and at 33 on-ramp. So yes, they're busy, very busy, and I appreciate the work. It all. And I think I did tell you about my grandson there, did I? Anyways, a while ago, we were out, and he was driving coming up the Stockdale Road, and we met a ride program. So they stopped us and asked us different questions. And when they got all done, he said to them, thank you very much. We appreciate the work you do to keep us safe. And I don't know, a couple of years ago, he was stopped by a railroad police officer on the Dug Hill Road. He was going to school, and obviously he was late, going faster than he should have been. Anyways, I think that officer, I know that officer made an impression on my grandson, to the point where he understands that, yes, safety is important, and the officer did the right thing. So I appreciate all the work. That's what I'm trying to say, and I'm pleased with the work that's being done. So keep up the good work, and keep on trying to hire people to do the work. That's another trick. Okay. Anything else? Oh, okay.
Just one more.
Go
Just on the, is there any local initiatives aimed at recruitment?
We have had a couple local events in the last month. We're lucky currently because Sergeant Tony Gabrielli, who you're probably mostly familiar with, has joined recruiting, and he's working out of our office. So where previously most of the recruiting initiatives were either GTA, or else Ottawa, Tony's been running things locally. We had quite a large setup at the air show, if any of you were lucky enough to see it. A very good response from that. And then he had a follow-up to that actually here where they sent out an open invitation for potential people to come in and speak directly with Tony and someone from our auxiliary, which is our volunteer program, and someone from our cadet program, which we also have a new cadet, which is a new addition to our office as well. So there has been a little bit more of an emphasis there. We do have some recruiting ambassadors within our detachment, Constable Maggie Pickett and Constable Dean Hamilton, as well as Devin Leeworthy, are all recruiting ambassadors. And whenever we do have people who show an interest, they kind of mentor them and pull them through the process. So ad hoc, we have something going on all the time.
Okay, good, thank you. I think it's very important, and we demonstrated it. We had one from Trenton go through, and she's a happy O.P.P. now, and we'll try to get her back here. But no, thank you for that, and that's what I'm after. We have a bunch of granddaughters now in the 16 to 17 range, and they're asking questions like that. So,
Yeah.
So the field is ripe, so thank you.
And also, thank you for being at Touch a Truck. Thank your family for being at Touch a Truck. Yes, it was great. It was great, and you had many resources there, showing people, I believe the whole day showed and demonstrated how strong we are when we work together. So I thank you very much for being there, and I still get that open invitation when we get some of the other hierarchy here, that we'll certainly get out for lunch or something. So, and we'll bring any board members that can make it. So it may be short notice, but if you can, we'll get something. So, thank you. All right, next is bylaws. We've got a resolution here. Bylaws be read first, second, and third time. I need a mover and a seconder for the bylaws, please. Moved by Charles, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Any questions or comments on the bylaws? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, looks like we're at the last. Eliana McKee is my new communications, yeah, I can't remember all the title, Yvonne, but anyways, she's fitting in very well and very competent. Her husband's in the military, and which is great, so it's all good. It's all good. Thank you very much to the recruiting team that went through the process and worked well, so thank you. Okay, I think need 2 for adjournment. We're done. Unless there's anything I've missed. Nope.
Since we have maybe a couple extra minutes, I had expected all of the transition to the new board to take some time, so I didn't want to overload the agenda. Under the new act, there is a stronger requirement for community consultation around setting priorities and action planning, which our process will be starting. So we've always done that in this area, but it will be more regulated, and there will be some information coming out. So if there are things maybe for the next meeting that you could put your mind to for how you would like to see community consultation done with the O.P.P. and anything that you personally would like to see addressed, that would be useful to me in my planning for the next year. And I'd also, at the convention or the seminar that they had there for the detachment boards, PSBs, they had Axon come in and they were showing some of the new technology that we have, which is something that I've never demonstrated to you. So for the next meeting, I'm going to arrange for someone to come in and show you what the body-worn cameras are, what the footage looks like, and how we upload all of the electronic evidence to give to the courts, just to kind of show you some of the tools that our officers are using and some of the additional stuff. You'll see instead of the belt where all of their use of force is, all of their technology is on their vest. They're all loaded out with cameras and phones and all the different little pieces of kit. So that's something that I know it kind of, Ted and Chuck were both interested in when they were showing it, so it kind of piqued my interest. That'd be something good to show both for you and for the community. But if there are other things that you're interested in, I know we've shown you the K9, the drones, the community policing models, that, there's different things that come through. If there's something specific that you'd like me to bring someone in, or have someone show you exactly how it works, then just send me a note on that, and I'll make sure that we get that out to you in the next year.
Well, I'll just make one more comment. I saw 3 officers here in uniform, and there may have been more, but it was great police work, Commander, to think that we need them here, and they parked their car out near the front, so everybody knew they were here, and any issues, I know one young lady came up to one of the officers and asked him to help her deal with something, which he did. And I saw Constable Detler back to work, which was fantastic, and he's glad to be here, So, and I had my wife with me, and one officer came over to the car and said, "I know you're the mayor, but I want to talk to the boss." Yeah, right. So, which was good. So, it's all good stuff. So again, thank you very much for all the good work, and we'll see you next meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're good.